You're listening to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell, and I am joined this week by, on the West Coast, Eric Woolley. Eric, what's going on?
Hey, Andrew. You asked what's going on. I am recording a podcast with you. How are you, Andrew?
Oh, those are strong plans, things you've got going on right now.
Yeah.
And we're also joined from Dublin, Ohio, Nick Weisenberger. Nick, what's going on?
Hey, not much, Andrew.
So we have decided this week we are going to come up with the very original idea that has happened at least on two podcasts that I listen to, probably countless others. The three of us, we're going to have a wood coaster draft. We're a couple weeks into the NFL season. My fantasy team personally doing really well. I don't know what the deal is with you guys. I'm seeing a thumbs up.
Doing great. 4-0. It's beautiful.
So anyway, we're killing it in fantasy right now. So we're going to have our own kind of fantasy wood coaster draft, and it wouldn't be a weird, quirky roller coaster podcast fantasy draft if we didn't have just very arbitrary categories that we're going to sort these roller coasters into. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to go through 10 rounds. It's going to go pretty quick. But there are 10 categories we have to fit these coasters in. And at the end, we're going to let the listeners vote on social media at Coaster101 and on Twitter, Facebook, if they allow us to do it, Instagram, if they allow us to do it. But we're going to have a little bit of time for some listener interaction this week. But those 10 categories, we've got the first category is 0 to 50 feet tall. Obviously, this is height, not drop. Then we have 51 to 100 feet tall, and then 100 plus feet tall. So those are three categories. Wooden coasters that go less than 45 miles per hour. Wooden coasters that go faster than 45 miles per hour. A roller coaster that opened before 1950. A roller coaster that opened in the years 1951 to 1990. A wooden roller coaster that is not on the 2022 Golden Ticket Award list for top 50 wooden roller coasters, a defunct roller coaster, and a wild card. Can be literally anything. And these don't have to be selected in any order. What we have decided on is roller coasters that are currently operating as of this recording. So if you're looking for El Toro to come off the board very early, I don't believe it will be picked. But it could be a, defunct or wild card pick if we really want to. Again, this is just for fun. We don't have to have a science to it. But through random selection, Nick, you've received the first pick, and we're going to do this in kind of a snake draft format. So Nick, you are on the clock, as it were, and you have first pick. I will take the second pick, and Eric will have the third pick, but then he will have the first pick of the second round. Everybody should know how a snake draft works at this point. It's kind of shaped like a snake. But you guys ready? You excited? You have your sleepers. You ready to go?
I've done hours of research for this.
Yeah.
Not really.
I found out what these categories were 5 minutes ago, Andrew. I haven't done any research.
I did 12 mock drafts.
This is the beauty of an amusement park podcast. It's supposed to be fun, and honestly, all you have to do is campaign on social media to get you guys to vote, and we don't really have a prize for the winner, but maybe we'll come up with a prize. Who knows? Nick, what is your first pick? What category are you taking off the board?
Ooh, first pick. Okay, no pressure or anything. All right, so I've got two coasters in mind, but I think I've got to go with what I think is the obvious pick. It's probably one of my favorite roller coasters ever is the Voyage at Holiday World. And
Perfect.
I'm going to do that for the 100 plus foot tall category.
Perfect. Voyage at Holiday World off the board. A Gravity Group coaster, yeah?
Yep, from 2006.
2006, consistently one of the top rated wooden roller coasters in the world. Solid pick by Nick. We are going to pick number 2, which is me. And I am actually going to take my less than 50 mile per hour coaster. And I am going to, where did it go? I lost it. I am going to hang on.
Andrew, do I get to pick if you take too long?
No, absolutely not.
The clock's ticking.
All right, yeah. Hey, Nick, start a timer.
No. I'm going to take
2 minutes, Andrew.
That's fine. I'm going to take my less than 50 mile per hour roller coaster.
45 is the rule.
Is it 45? Oh my gosh.
You made these categories.
I did, didn't I?
I've got both my picks figured out. I'm ready to go.
All right, I'm taking my less than 45 mile per hour pick, and it is White Lightning at Fun Spot America from Great Coasters International. Tops out at 44.3 miles per hour. So White Lightning off the board.
I had no idea it was under 45 miles per hour. Now, actually, same category. I do have one clarification. If it's exactly 45 miles per hour, can I put that in either category?
Less than or equal to. We'll say less than or equal to, and then if it's 45.1.
Okay, great. Because I think actually I'm my first pick of these back-to-backs, I'm actually going to use the idea you just gave me, Andrew, which is picking El Toro as my defunct coaster, because most defunct wooden roller coasters suck, and El Toro maybe kind of sucks too, but the last time I rode it, it was great. Every time I've ridden it, it's great. It's been one of my favorite wooden roller coasters, so taking that as my defunct one, since we are getting to maybe cheat a little bit with that.
Yeah.
And then I will also take my under 45 mile per hour, or less than or equal to, and go with Phoenix at Knoebels, which is still one of the most fun things I've ever ridden in my life. And sit in it's the seventh row or something, where you, maybe the third row, one of those where you your butt never touches the seat.
And Phoenix, obviously the number one pick for top 50 wooden roller coasters. So you've got
it's still on the board.
Yeah, you killed it there. I mean, again, this is the ideas of picking third and fourth. You get to just stack your picks. But yeah,
now I don't have to pay attention for 5 more minutes.
There you go. Back to me. I am going to take one of my favorite wooden roller coasters, and I want to confirm the stats here. Because I was so shook on my own rules. Give me my coaster that's taller than 100 feet. I am taking Mystic Timbers.
Oh,
See,
that was my next pick.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Sorry.
Oh, crap.
Mystic Timbers, 109.2 feet tall. Obviously, Kings Island, another Great Coasters International creation, with some help from the guys over at Skyline Attractions. Very fun ride. We still don't know what's in the shed, I think. Or we've all ridden it. We know what's in the shed.
I have not ridden it.
Okay, Eric, don't watch the POVs.
I have not.
All right, good for you.
Someday I'll go back to Kings Island.
Yeah, one day. But Nick, you're on the board now. What did you're on the clock, rather.
I need a minute to think about it now, because Phoenix and Mystic Timbers would have been my next 2 choices, probably.
Oh man!
And you said we can go international here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We're not limited to the coasters we've only ridden.
Eric's going to dunk on you.
I'm going to ask you what you think of it and how you enjoyed it to describe the experience, though, Nick.
All right, so I think I will go with, for greater than 45 miles per hour, I will go with Wildfire, the RMC Topper Track coaster in Sweden.
Cold-Martin, yeah.
That is correct.
Yes, from 2016.
You should have to name what park it's at if you're going to pick an international one.
Okay. And Nick, you have another pick right after this one.
Ooh, okay. So next,
to recap for those listening, round 1, Nick took the Voyage, I took White Lightning, Eric took El Toro, and then Eric bounced back with Phoenix. I took Mystic Timbers, and Nick took Wildfire at Cold-Martin in Sweden.
Andrew, we should be vamping while Nick researches.
We should.
You want me
Absolutely.
to give you pick a category, and I can just start listing off coasters, and you can shout "Stop, Nick."
It's like the Price is Right wheel. It's like boop, 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 boop.
Andrew, have you ever been to Colmartin and ridden Wildfire?
I have not. I honestly have never ridden a roller coaster outside of the United States, which is just exactly what everybody hates about American coaster enthusiasts. Is they're not well traveled, and there's a reason why the Golden Ticket Awards are just all U.S. coasters, and there's not enough international representation on there because it's all populated by U.S. coaster enthusiasts.
Understandable. I've only ridden one wooden roller coaster overseas. So you want to go Sweden next year?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
Ride Nick's number 2 pick.
If I could fit in the RMC, I'm still having my love-hate relationship with RMC right now, where I don't fit in half the rides they create. So,
yeah. Well, their trains are terrible, so it's.
Hey, I did get on Railblazer, but that's not a wooden coaster, so that's another story for another day.
The seats on the Raptors are much better designed, I think, than.
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm ready. I think the pick is in.
The pick is in.
I just took a little research because I'm going to go with the not on the 2022 Golden Ticket Awards list.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I had to look at the list first to confirm this coaster's not on there, which I am not seeing it. So I'm going with the aptly named Wood Coaster. This is at Night Valley in China. This is a GCI coaster that opened in 2011.
Maybe we might need to limit this to like only one coaster you've never ridden. And certainly only one coaster you've never heard of until now.
Listen, Nick is trying to get that international vote right now. We have less than dozens of international listeners at this point. So I think Nick's trying hard for that international vote.
Here's the new rule. If you win the draft, but you don't ride all of these coasters within the next year, you have to forfeit your win.
Okay.
And unclear if China will be open to tourism by then. So you might be in trouble.
Okay, that's Wood Coaster GCI. You said opened in 2011.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a train coaster. Looks like an even better version of Thunderhead, basically.
Okay, I like it. Kyle Linder on our team is he is a big Thunderhead fan, and he thinks it's better than Lightning Rod. I don't. Again, that's on the internet. It's on Coaster101. You can't put anything on the internet that's not true. My third round pick, and I am going to go with the coaster that is 51 to 100 feet tall. And this is tall. This is not the first drop, because this coaster has a larger first drop than its height, but it also has one of the greatest lift hill views of any wooden coaster I've ever been on. That is Ravine Flyer 2 at Waldameer in Erie, Pennsylvania. And you have this panoramic view of Lake Erie. You go over a road, and it is everything that makes a Gravity Group roller coaster just fantastic. So I am taking Ravine Flyer 2 with my 51 to 100 foot tall coaster. It is 80 feet tall, but has a 118 foot first drop.
I am shocked at what you guys are leaving on the board here for me. Because this, especially after Mystic Timbers was taken, this seemed very easy to me, especially because most wooden roller coasters from 1950 to 1990 are not very good these days. But Beast at Kings Island is still one of the best wooden roller coasters in the world, built in 1979, I believe.
Yes.
So I'm taking that as my 1951 to 1990 coaster.
Okay.
With this pick.
I like it. And for those who are annual purchasers of the Coaster101 calendar, there is going to be a great photo of the Beast. We've received approval. The calendars are going into production soon. So more on that later. But once again, we'll be donating all proceeds to Give Kids the World. But Eric, you have your first pick of the fourth round.
Yeah. I am now going to maybe need a second. You know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to also jump into the... Oh, no one's done the under 50 feet tall category yet. I am going to take another category from Pennsylvania and take Jackrabbit at Kennywood as my under 40-foot tall coaster. That is really, I think that might be the only one of these that I've been on, at least in North America. Well, yeah, the only one I've been on, period.
That's a solid pick, and that was something I was trying to save until later, but you sniped me there, which I'm kind of mad at you for, but I am going to just have to let it.
I'm good at my job, Andrew.
That's true.
Roller coaster fantasy park GM.
That's right. All right. Well, I was recently in Connecticut, and let me see. I want to check something here. I'm man, did I really? I've still got it. We're good. I have not ridden this coaster. I actually had the choice to go to Lake Compounce or Six Flags New England, and against my better judgment, I went to Six Flags New England. Again, that's another story for another day. But with the coaster that is faster than 45 miles per hour, I am going to take the number 4 ranked roller coaster in the wooden coaster category in this year's Golden Tickets. I'm taking Boulder Dash at Lake Compounce. So I, again, have never been to Lake Compounce, had the chance, was really excited, but realized that the Six Flags Park was a little bit closer and had more coaster credits. And then I didn't fit in Superman and I didn't fit in Wicked Cyclone. So it was just kind of a very Six Flags day for me. And if you're a coaster enthusiast, you understand that metaphor. Nick, we're back to you with your pick in the 4th round.
Okay. Let's see here. I guess I'll knock out the 0 to 50 foot tall category. Basically, for me, it's any one of these mini gravity group coasters. So I'll go with the one that I've actually been on this time, Kentucky Flyer at Kentucky Kingdom.
I like it. What did you think of Kentucky Flyer? I have not been to the park since it opened. And I have not been on one of these kind of gravity group family coasters. What'd you think?
I just double checked it, and it does just barely squeak in at 47 feet tall. But yeah, it's a great ride. It's just, one of those laugh out loud fun kind of rides. It's just like lots of airtime in a little short layout.
I like it.
Yeah, I've also never ridden any of the gravity group family coasters, but have wanted to try them. I wish there were more. They need to keep building them.
One day. And Nick, we're right back to you. That's the lovely part of a 3-person draft is you always stack picks. You and Eric will stack picks, and I will just have single picks in the middle.
Okay.
And Nick, for those listening, if you're not like writing this down, which first of all, shame on you, Nick. Through the first 4 rounds, Nick has taken his 0 to 50 foot tall coaster with Kentucky Flyer. He has taken his 100 plus foot tall coaster with the Voyage, his faster than 45 miles per hour coaster with Wildfire at Cole Martin, and the not on the 2022 Golden Ticket Award list with Wood Coaster at a park in China that's the GCI. That is a very generically named, but I don't know very much about it otherwise.
Okay.
So in the 5th round, Nick is taking.
The pick is in.
In.
I feel like Eric stole some of my picks, so I feel like this may be stealing one from Eric, but I'm going to go with my operating but open before 1950 coaster. I'm going with the Giant Dipper from the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
Ooh.
I was hoping I could get that. I was hoping I could get that in my next pick. A lot of those old ones also not very good coasters, and had to really wanted the one from my backyard. But I'll have to do some research while Andrew picks now.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of research on my end. I'm not gonna take the obvious answer to go after the Giant Dipper would be to go with the
other Giant Dipper at Belmont Park?
The other Giant Dipper. I'm not going to actually do that. But I am going to actually. What am I going to take? I am going to take. I got it. I got it. It's right here. It's right
Actually,
here.
a few more times, and then he'll come to you.
No. I've got it. I too am going to take my before 1950 coaster, and I am going to go with the oldest operating coaster. That is Leap the Dips in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's a slide friction roller coaster. It's opened in 1902, so it's 120 years old at this point. 41 feet tall. It's got a 9-foot drop, about 1,500 feet of track. And if you were listening to a recent episode of the Drunk Riders podcast, they said if you're breathing, you can ride this ride. They technically have a height restriction of like 36 inches or something like that, but there's literal photos of babies on this ride. But I think for its historical value, I think it is coming to Team Andrew with my pick in the 5th round. So, Eric, you are on the clock. Recap for what you've done through the first 4 rounds. You have Jackrabbit at your 0 to 50 foot tall coaster. You have Phoenix at Knoebels at your coaster that is less than 45 miles per hour. You have the Beast as the wooden coaster that opened from 1951 to 1990. And you have El Toro as the standing but not operating defunct coaster at this time. So what would you like as your 5th round pick?
Yeah, my strategy has been impacted here because I was planning to go with a pre-1950 coaster either way, but since you guys have both done that, I feel like I can probably save that till like the last round now. I don't think you're going to load up on too many more pre-1950 coasters. Maybe. There's some others that could maybe go on there. So I'm trying to figure out what category I want to go with. I think I might jump into the 51 to 100 feet tall category with one that I'm now need to make sure that this is actually falls into that category. I was thinking one that I just rode recently. Texas Stingray, I think, is under 100 feet, right? Yes, so it looks like Texas Stingray is 96 feet tall, just squeaking under that 100-foot tall. I just rode it for the first time like a month ago. Fantastic ride, GCI Open 2020. I'm going to take that as my 51 to 100-foot tall coaster. And now I need to figure out some other categories too. You know what? I might go with having a hard time sorting through trying to figure out stuff that's not on the top 50 wooden coasters list. But since we just mentioned it, and it is a pretty good ride, I think I'm going to take the other giant dipper from San Diego's Belmont Park, a ride that I've been on a few times. Not on the 2022 GTA list because I'm too lazy to figure out other things not on that list. I should probably pick something else for that.
And you're taking that as your not on 2022 golden tickets?
No, I'm gonna let you go. Moving on. I've cast my
fair. Okay, that's a solid pick. Let me just put this into the draft here. Okay, that's good. The picks is in. We can't trade picks. We don't need the commissioner coming out and saying, no, you can't do that. So my first 5 rounds, I ended up with Ravine Flyer 2 at my 51 to 100 foot tall coaster, Mystic Timbers with my 100+ foot coaster, White Lightning at Fun Spot, America in Orlando, my under 45 mile per hour, Boulder Dash at my over 45 mile per hour, and Leap the Dips as my coaster that opened in prior to 1950 and 1902, certainly prior to 1950. I want to go ahead and I'm going to get my defunct coaster out of the way. And it is not I don't think it's the greatest pick, but I'm going to do this purely for sentimental value at this point. I'm going to go with Thunder Road, but it has to be the era when one of the trains was facing backwards. So pre-2006 Thunder Road at Carowinds. And there is a reason why anytime the park posts something on social media, there is at least one comment that's like, save Thunder Road or bring back Thunder Road. I can't believe you took it down. So I am going with Thunder Road, pre-2006 Thunder Road, if we're going to be specific, as my 6th round pick. And that is my defunct coaster. And Nick, back to you, and you have stacked picks.
All right, and I think I'm ready here, so I'm going to go and get the 1951 to 1990 category out of the way here. And again, there's not too many good options. Eric already took the beast.
There's not a
Kings
lot.
Island, and I'm actually going to stay within Kings Island and go with the Racer.
Oh, you stole one of mine later. Man. All right, so that is your 1951.
It's like, no offense to Racer, but the drop in quality from the best 1950 to 1990 wooden coaster to the second best is pretty big.
It is, but you know what? There's some good options still in there. I feel like
I'm excited to see what you pick, Andrew.
We'll see what I got. Nick, you have another pick while I'm waiting.
All right, so I'm up again. So I think this time I'll go with the 51 to 100 foot tall category, and this one might be a bit of a surprising pick to some of the listeners. And this is actually a coaster that I believe all three of us actually rode together back in 2019 when we went to Six Flags Great America and rode Viper.
Ooh,
Ah,
it's a strong pick.
yeah. One that surprised all of us with how much we liked it, I think.
Yeah, it was one of the most underrated roller coasters out there. It is exactly 100 feet tall, so it just works out for the category.
I like it. So let's see. I am just trying to catch up on my draft here, and I've got it.
We're
You're
down
good to go.
To 4 picks left, everyone.
Down. You've got
three for you. Oh wait, no, I don't know. 3 for you, Nick.
3 for you. We've got Derek. Eric and I have 4, and I am going to go. And I'm going to get you guys on a technicality here. And this is a ride that originally opened in let's see.
How's your day been, Nick?
It's right here. Okay. It's a ride that originally opened in 1917, but when it was moved, it opened at Six Flags America in 1986. And hey, I heard you were a Wild One. So Wild One at Six Flags America, another classic wooden coaster, but did open in that kind of sweet spot at Six Flags America in 1951 to 1990, opening in 1986. So I'm going with Wild One as my 1951 to 1990 coaster.
All right. I think I'm sort of getting down to categories that are actually relatively, well, I was going to say they were easy picks for me, but I'm not sure that's actually true. More, I've got to decide what category I want to stick these in. I think I'm going to start with my over 100 feet coaster. I'm going to go with the new and improved Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm, which, if you haven't ridden it since GCI did some work on it a few years ago, is fantastic now.
It is.
I mean, it was fantastic when it first opened too, and that sort of got bad, and now it's fantastic again.
I can confirm this. This was it was the first ride I rode at my trip to Knott's a couple of years ago, and I just remember thinking how great of a wooden coaster this was. So
is that that double helix at the end still one of my favorite elements on any coaster? And so now I'm running out of categories. I've got my over 45 and my pre-1950, both of which you guys have already taken. So I'm not really competing. I could pick one that fits with either of these, but I think I'll use it as my pre-1950 coaster, and I'm going to go with Cyclone at Luna Park at Coney Island, which is, I think, Andrew, you rode it recently-ish, maybe?
I have not.
You have not ridden it.
John has ridden it. John
rode it recently.
He did.
I rode it a few years ago when visiting friends in New York, and I'm always amazed by old coasters like this or Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz that are still as fun as they are 100 years later or whatever. Really, really good coaster.
I love it. That is a solid pick. And Nick, you stole I was going to go with the Racer for my not on the Golden Ticket Awards, which, first of all, I don't know how it is not on the Golden Ticket, like the Golden Ticket Top 50, especially with all the work the Gravity Group has done with it.
Yep.
I am just confirming, and yes, with a Control F search, my not on the 2022 Golden Ticket Award list. Actually, you know what? I don't need to pull that one right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull my wild card now that I'm thinking about it, because Eric was talking about Ghost Rider, and I need to talk about a wooden coaster at Eric's home park with a similar sounding name, Gold Striker. Gold Striker, I rode again for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I loved the tunnel drop. It was everything that made a GCI roller coaster fun. So I am going with Gold Striker as my wild card pick.
I almost picked that with my last pick for my over 45 miles per hour. I clearly should have forgot about the wild card category.
Well, it's sitting right here.
I don't know how this works.
Right here on the Google Sheet. So it's
yeah.
And Nick, back to you. You have your slow coaster, your less than 45 mile per hour. You have your defunct coaster, and you have your wild card. What would you like to pick in round 8?
I think I'll go with the under 45. I will again go back to our trip in 2019 when we all, I think, rode Cornball Express at Indiana Beach.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly 45 miles per hour.
I love it. That was.
I'm honestly surprised, and maybe this will still come up somewhere. I was thinking the Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain from Indiana Beach might show up in one of our the height or speed ones.
Oh yeah, that's another unique coaster.
It is
a weird ride that I assume is still there.
It's still there. Yeah. With the elevator lift and the mine car, weird, like you're locked in the mine car
with
carts
a net around you. Yeah.
Crazy. And Nick, you still have 2 picks. You have your defunct coaster and your wild card. And for those recapping or who want to recap, Nick so far has Kentucky Flyer at his 0 to 50, Viper at Six Flags Great America at 51 to 100, Voyage at Holiday World at 100 plus feet, Cornball Express at less than 45 miles per hour, Wildfire at Cole Martin at his over 45, the Giant Dipper as his pre-1950 coaster, and that's the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, the Racer at Kings Island as his 1951 to 1990 coaster, and Wood Coaster at this park in China, which is not on the 22 Golden Ticket list. So you have a defunct coaster and a wild card coaster left to pick.
Ooh, all right. I think I'm going to save the wild card for my last one so that anything's on the table for that one. So I'll go with the defunct category. I have a couple in mind. I'm going way back. I know this is, again, you're going to be mad at me because I haven't ridden these, or no one we've known I think has ridden any of these, but I'm deciding between the Lake Placid bobsled, which is supposedly like the craziest wooden bobsled coaster ever built. I think it was like the 8th tallest wooden roller coaster to be defunct. So just for comparison, Flying Turns, a wooden bobsled coaster at Knoebels, is like 50 feet tall. I think this one was 125 feet tall.
Oh my God.
And then my other choice I'm trying to decide was the Riverview Bobs, which is, I think, a lot of people consider to be one of the best roller coasters ever built. So really, I could go either way.
Not sure Andrew and I can comment very much on either of those.
Those are old.
Yeah,
they don't exist anymore.
It's defunct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not on my radar to pick one of those.
Okay, let's just go with the Lake Placid bobsled, which operated from 1937 to 1946.
Sure.
Nice.
Because no one can argue like, oh, no, that ride wasn't that good.
It's true. It's a good point.
There we go.
All right, Lake Placid bobsleds off the board.
I didn't see that one coming.
No, this is we're in the late round picks here, where you got the if we're in the NBA, it's the guys from like Lithuania who's like yeah, he's going to be a great pick, and then he actually never comes across the ocean to play in the NBA. So I have two coasters left. I have the not on the 2022 golden tickets, and I have my 0 to 50 feet tall. I am going to go with the various iterations of Woodstock Express at Cedar Fair Parks. I know Carowinds has one, King's Dominion has one. If I have to be specific, I've ridden the Carowinds one most recently, and it's had some track work. And those are very, very fun family coasters that I think are perfect for not just like younger kids and families, but enthusiasts as well, because I can speak, or my last ride, I had Shane on our team at Carowinds, and it was him and his younger brother, and I surprised the hell out of those guys with a ride on Woodstock Express, I think, just because of how much airtime and the laterals and all of these coaster nerd terms. So yeah, Woodstock Express is what I'm going to go with for my 0 to 50 foot tall.
All right. So now at the end of my draft, and I've got big categories left, the over 45 miles per hour and my wild card. So I could just pick like 2 RMCs that are at the top of the speed list or something. But I don't actually want to pick RMC topper tracks because I think that's kind of cheating. So my principles tell me I need to go elsewhere. And so instead I'm going to pick 2 GCI coasters for my last pick. And you could mix and match these, but I think I'm going to go first one, Lightning Racer at Hershey Park.
Okay.
Which I believe is not taken. I think it's 51 miles per hour, so it could fit in that category. And then I'm also going to take Thunderhead at Dollywood, the best wind coaster Dollywood, which has not been picked, right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So I'm loading up on my GCIs to round out my draft. And Pennsylvania coasters.
Yes.
Man, if you live in Pennsylvania, you should vote for me.
Dollywood, famously in Pennsylvania. So
yeah, well.
All right, back to me. I have my last pick, and it is the coaster that is not on the 2022 Golden Ticket Awards. And I had a really, really good ride on this coaster several years ago. I've heard over the years it's gotten rough. It's one of those coasters that kind of bounces back and forth between the golden tickets, on the list, off the list. But we are going to go to the roadside carnival that's set up next to a GCI in the middle of Kentucky, and we are going to Beach Bend for the Kentucky Rumbler as my coaster on that is not on the Golden Ticket Award list. Have you guys ridden Kentucky Rumbler, or am I the only one? Or me and John, we drove from Nashville to Bowling Green, Kentucky to ride this thing. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it feels like a state fair or carnival that like typically ends up in like a Walmart parking lot set up next to this world-class wooden roller coaster in the middle of Kentucky. But
I have not been to Beach Bend, and I think it's real unlikely I'll ever go to Beach Bend.
That's fair.
I've been there once. Probably only time, but yeah, that was on a Holiday World trip. Driving down and hitting up a Beach Bend.
Were you a Kentucky Rumbler fan, Nick?
Yeah, I mean it's a GCI, right? And there's no bad GCIs as far as I've ridden.
All right, Nick, you have one final pick, and you have your wild card pick left to go.
Ooh, so now everything that hasn't been picked is on the table, which is quite a few good options here. Since it's a wild card, I was thinking, could I do something that's not open yet? Like Bombay Express is a new GCI that's not open yet, or like Zambezi Zinger or something like that.
You certainly can.
I could, but I'll stick to ones that are currently open.
The rules are fluid here.
And then we also have, like Eric was saying, I could just go through the list of the RMCs, the ones that hasn't been picked. I think the Outlaw Run's probably the highest rated one that's not on here. But I think I'll stick to a classic, a wooden coaster that I'm surprised hasn't been taken off the board yet. But I will go back to Holiday World for the Raven.
Yeah,
that's a solid pick. It is a very, very solid pick. Very great way to wind up the first ever Coaster 101 podcast, Wooden Coaster Draft. The highly original idea. So if you're another roller coaster podcast, you've done this. We didn't hear it on your show first. So,
but Nick's going for the Holiday World fan vote here.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna do a real quick recap here, and then we're gonna post on Twitter. You'll have the week to vote. So if you're listening this week, we hope you will head to our Twitter account. It will be a pinned tweet at the top of our page, and we'll have the image with who picked what and who has the best, and we'll vote on this, and we'll talk about it on the next episode. But Nick, to recap, he has Kentucky Flyer, Viper at Six Flags Great America, Voyage at Holiday World, Corndall Express at Indiana Beach, Wildfire at Cole Martin, the Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, Kings Islands Racer, Wood Coaster at
Night Valley.
Every time.
Is it Happy Valley? Is that which wood coaster did you mean, Nick?
No, it's Night Valley.
Night Valley.
Night Wood Coaster at Night Valley, the Lake Placid bobsleds, and the Raven. My coaster lineup here are the various Woodstock Express clones, Ravine Flyer 2, Mystic Timbers, White Lightning, Boulder Dash, Leap the Dips, Wild One, Kentucky Rumbler, pre-2006 Thunder Road, and Gold Striker at California's Great America. And Eric, last but certainly not least, has Jackrabbit at Kennywood, Texas Stingray at SeaWorld San Antonio, Ghost Rider at Knott's, Phoenix at Knoebels, Lightning Racer at Hershey Park, the iconic Coney Island Cyclone at Luna Park, Kings Island's Beast. He has the other Giant Dipper at Belmont Park in San Diego, El Toro, and Thunderhead.
El Toro is really cheating. They probably shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have suggested it could count as a defunct coaster, Andrew.
Listen, if people want to vote for a ride that hurts people, vote for Eric.
I'm sure Cornball Express has hurt someone before.
Yeah, wasn't there like the electric?
Somebody gets
shot. That was the other one. That was the Hoosier Hurricane.
Oh. Anyway, it's giving Buzz Bars a whole new meaning.
Anyways, I clearly have the best lineup here. Everyone should vote for mine if you listen and vote. How are we?
Yes.
How's this voting happening? Can I just vote repeatedly?
I mean, you can. It's if you want to create multiple burner Twitter accounts. I think we're gonna do this on Twitter. So twitter.com/Coaster101 or at Coaster101. Make sure you're following us. We're gonna put this poll up on Monday morning, and it will go through the week, and so we will. It will go until the next time we record, whenever that is. So get your votes in early, vote off, and get your burner accounts, get your work accounts, whatever you got to do to vote for my lineup or Nick's lineup or Eric's lineup. Probably not Eric's or Nick's, but that's what you need to do.
My lineup is so much better than your guys. I'm just looking at these side by side. I'm winning every category.
Yeah, okay. You think that? Listen. The Giant Dipper at Belmont Park. I don't get it. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Coaster 101 podcast. If you're listening, make sure you're following us on social media. We're at Coaster 101 anywhere you consume the platform. We also have a website, Coaster101.com. We've got articles we've written in the past about wooden coasters. Eric was using them to reference his notes at the beginning of this show. So, just head to Coaster101.com. You can search pretty much any roller coaster name, and there's probably something written about it. But go check that out. Also, if you're listening, make sure you're liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, listening on Spotify, and then going over to the podcast app on Apple iTunes and listening there as well, so we get more listens. But the more reviews we get, the more positive reviews, we get good guests in the future, everybody wins. So, and then when we have guests, you don't have to listen to Nick, Eric, and I have fantasy drafts about roller coasters. So hopefully we can get some better guests here in the future.
I thought I was the good guest you were talking about.
Anyway, thanks as always to Justin Mabry of JM Music Design for our theme music. Nick, Eric, you guys can come back and we'll do steel coasters, or we'll come up with another highly original draft idea sometime in the future. But thank you guys for hopping on with me.
Yeah, of course.
All right. We will talk to y'all again soon. See ya.
Bye.